and gentlemen, boys and girls, cardaholics of all ages, welcome back to Big L's Cards, and thank you so much for watching. Today, I thought I would talk about, on today's episode of Talkin Cards, collecting in our current economic times. I'm sure I don't have to tell any of you what's going on in our country as far as the economy goes, gas prices, the prices of everything. I know a lot of people have had to make sacrifices and tighten their belts, so to speak, and I'm sure that that has affected a lot of people's ability to go out and buy sports cards, which the first thing I would say is that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with taking a break from the hobby in order to make things easier for yourself to live. So let's go ahead and state that right out of the fact. If anybody needs to take a break because of the economic situation, don't feel bad. The hobby's still going to be here, okay? So take care of yourself and your families first. Always most important. One thing that I've seen a lot of people discuss online is that our current economic market is impacting the card market. And that's absolutely true. If you look at a lot of high-end cards, you're going to see that a lot of their values have decreased pretty significantly. Now, granted, a lot of that has to do with there was a serious period of pump and dump for the last, 2 years almost. And that kind of seems to have died down a little bit. But there's also just the fact that less money is being spent on cards, more money is being spent on necessities and gas and things of that nature that, people who have been holding these things for a long time thinking they're going to increase in value might have to move it for less than what they paid or less than what they thought they were going to get. And so you're probably going to see a lot of higher end stuff decrease compared to where you might have seen it even a year ago. So with that in mind, one thing that I feel like this could be, I don't want to say taken advantage of, but it could be advantageous for those looking to add some higher end cards in their collection to watch some of these cards for the next little bit and see if maybe this is a good time to scoop it up. Now, within your financial means, let's get that out of the way first. If you have the ability to do so and you find a good deal, there's nothing wrong with scooping that up. I feel like the way that things are going right now could lead to some incredible deals. But I also think that this is going to be an interesting time, especially when it comes to things like retail cards and hobby cards. Now, there are certain brands that are going to sell out in an instant because that's just what happens. You see the scalpers see the word Prism and they immediately wet themselves with excitement and try to grab up as much as they can and fight each other over it. Like, it's hilariously obscene. The Prism stuff and Select and those top names, so to speak, I don't really see those disappearing as far as the high demand for them, because that's just what we've come to know, is that Prism is king, right? Prism Silvers specifically. But other brands like Gypsy Queen and Diamond Kings and even things like Playoff and Playbook and Bowman University, it's that kind of stuff that I'm seeing sit on the shelves more often. I've even seen more Bowman than I thought that I would. And granted, the price on that's higher than it has been in other years. But we are seeing the non-Prism brand names sit, at least in certain Walmarts, depending on where you live. I would venture a guess to see that, Topps Chrome Baseball will be a sellout. Topps Update Baseball will be a sellout. But that's just because of the Bobby Witt Jr.'s, the Julio Rodriguez, the Spencer Torkelsons of the world, all joining the checklist alongside Wander, right? So that's going to be a thing to pay attention to. But I think that our current situation economically could end up leading to less retail cards just being instantly purchased. I think that we might see a small period where there is a larger influx of stuff on the shelves. Again, that's going to depend on where you live, and that's going to depend on the people who are in the area where you live. So there are all sorts of other factors. but I think that we are, and I know I'm seeing this in my own sales personally. It is going to slow down a little bit as people have to tighten their belts and make adjustments in order to ensure that their families can live comfortably. There are going to be fewer cards purchased, and that's perfectly okay. Again, the number one thing I would say as we prepare to enter this crazy economic time is do whatever is necessary to take care of your family. If that means selling PC cards, if that means pausing purchasing cards, I mean, you guys noticed I've done a lot more talking cards videos than I have in quite some time. And that's me both testing out a, format where I upload every day while not having to rip something every single day. But it's also a way for me to have content without having to buy something. That's ending up saving my money too. It's also helping that I'm putting myself out there more often to kind of, give me to 1,000 subs, which I'm very close. So with this current economic situation, I think we're going to see a lot of cards slow down in sales. I think we're going to see some decreases in singles prices. I think wax isn't going to change that much with regard to its prices. I think we are still going to see some higher prices than we are accustomed to or than they should be. But I think that as people gradually stop buying the sealed wax, depending on what it is, of course, we will see some of those prices fall a little bit. A good example of this, last year, 2021, Gypsy Queen was $150 a box. Nobody bought it. So you were able to get it for, $110, $120 in certain places because nobody was buying it. Then they lowered the price and all of a sudden they buy it again. So I think that sealed will stay where it's at. That doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to buy it, and that could lead to a price decrease in those instances. But I think the singles market's going to take a hit. We're already kind of seeing that in the high-end market. So number one, again, take care of your family, take care of yourself, and put those needs above hobby needs. That's a given. Number two, this could be an opportune time to buy something at a lower price than where it would have been a year ago. So watch on eBay, watch on other places for those steals that you can get. You can get some really good deals on cards. And I would even say too, if you have the ability to hold, I don't think that'd be a bad idea either. Again, I'm going to go ahead and say this now. I am in no way, shape, or form any kind of financial person. I take care of my personal finances, but I cannot make micro or macroeconomic decisions or provide any kind of financial advice. So I would just put that out there now so that nobody sues me, right? Those are just my thoughts though. We're entering some, I feel like the hobby has been in crazy times since 2020 to begin with, but I feel like we're about to enter yet another chapter of those crazy times. It'll be interesting to see, but let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the economy and what's going to happen to cards. And, for collectors like me who have that collect first mindset, we're going to be fine. For the scalpers and for the people who think that cards are investments and they choose to speculate on cards, they might be in for a little bit of a rougher ride. That's why I always think collectors first, but that's just me. Again, there's nothing wrong with how people collect unless your backyard. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, please leave your thoughts in a comment. Please leave a like, subscribe, stay tuned for more videos, and until next time, bye-bye.